Hello, I'm Ken with Orion Telescopes and Binoculars, and this very big telescope is our 10-inch f8 RC. That's a Ritchey-Chrétien Astrograph reflecting telescope. So it's, again, 10-inch f8, and the RC means it's not a Cassegrain. It doesn't have that front corrector plate like you see on a standard Cassegrain. It uses specialized optics. They're hyperbolic, the primary mirror that's hyperbolic, and a secondary mirror also hyperbolic, to correct for those aberrations that normally you would see a Schmidt Cassegrain use the corrector plate for. What that gives you is a very well corrected image. So it's designed for DSLRs, even full format 35mm DSLRs. Very flat field, no coma, an excellent imaging system for medium to small deep sky objects. So it's great for smaller galaxies, star clusters, globular clusters, all sorts of nebula up there, and excellent versatile focal length for those medium to small sized objects up in the sky. All right, well, let's get started and look at some of the features of the telescope. All right, well, the first thing, the most important part of this telescope is the optical system itself. Inside, you've got the primary mirror, hyperbolic again, and the secondary mirror. They're made of fused quartz, and it features 96% enhanced reflectivity, so a lot of light coming through the system. It's f8, and I don't know if you can see it, but there's a series of baffles. They're computer positioned baffles all the way up and down the tube itself. The primary mirror baffle down in the back also has baffles in it, as well as the secondary mirror baffle as well up here. So what that does for you is give you very high contrast. Let's say you're imaging some nebula and there's a star right off the edge of the field. Well, in a telescope that's just painted black on the inside, there's a lot of light that's going to be bouncing around, lowering your contrast. Baffles like this really boost that contrast and keep the glare to a minimum. So an excellent quality optical tube overall. The next thing I wanted you to notice is on the bottom of the telescope, we have a Losmandy style wide dovetail bar. So this will fit on any equatorial mount that carries a Losmandy style bar. Now, it's a fairly heavy telescope. It's 35 pounds, a little over 35 pounds. So it's meant for the bigger mount. Here you see we have it on our HDX mount. It is 35 pounds, so that means it's within the weight load capacity of an Atlas mount, which is 40. But by the time you add on all of your imaging accessories, the guide scopes, the camera, the filter wheel, the whatever else, it's going to probably push it past the 40-pound weight load. So make sure you've got a mount big enough to hold something like this. If you look at the other side, the top of the telescope, we've included another Losmandy bar so that you can attach any number of accessories up on top. And that would usually be the guide scope with the rings, if you're doing that, a piggyback adapter, and anything you want to put up on top. So a nice feature to have up there for extra accessories. On the back side of the telescope, you can see many nice features, starting with the focuser. So it's a 2-inch Crayford focuser, and it's got a 10-to-1 reduction on it. So here's the coarse focus, 1-to-1, same thing on the other side. And then the little black knob here is the 10-to-1 reduction. So you can get very fine focus control when you're imaging with your CCD camera. It's critical to get absolute focus, and that's what helps get you there. The focuser itself uses a 2-inch compression ring system here. So there's a brass compression ring that locks down fully around your camera's nozzle or the eyepiece, the diagonal, and doesn't mar the surface of the barrel. So a very secure system to attach. The 2-to-1 1/4 adapter also has a brass compression ring as well. The focuser is rotatable. Lock that down. If you unlock it here, you can rotate the focuser in any position you want. So if the focus knobs are in not a convenient angle, you can rotate it around here and get better access to it, and then just lock it down. RCs are, and Cassegrains as well, have very long back focus. So that's not an exception with this one as well. There's about 140 millimeters. That's like 5.5 inches of back focus. So when you bring this back in, from the 2-inch plane of the focuser back to where the light focuses is about 5.5 inches. So that means there's plenty of room for not only your camera, but anything you want to put in front of the camera, like a filter wheel, filter slider, off-axis guider, adaptive optic system. They'll all fit on the back of this. And there's plenty of room to work with. These are the extension tubes that come with the telescope in order to reach focus. Remember that there's 5.5 inches of back focus here. If you're using a DSLR camera, I believe you'll be using one of the 2-inch rings and then one of the 1-inch rings. But we give you a set of 3 so you can find the combination that's right for your exact setup. So what happens is you find the right combination, unscrew the focuser here, take it off, this threads on in place, and then the focuser threads on here. So it's a very solid system. Everything's threaded on, locked in place. It's not moving anywhere. There's no flex. A very solid system for even the heaviest of DSLR cameras. Another very nice system built into the telescope is the fan system. You can see it here. Here's 3 fans around the perimeter and the 12-volt connection plug. Now the mirrors themselves are fused quartz, so they're a nice low thermal expansion substrate. But even a 10-inch mirror takes a while to cool down. So the fan system, it comes with a little 8 AA battery carrier. So just stick your 8 AA's in there, plug it in here, or you can do some external source as long as it's 12 volt. Turn on the fans and they will cool down the mirror in no time to reach ambient temperature. And the last thing I wanted to mention, a nice little feature that we've included, is the dual finder scope bracket system. So there's 2 finder bases here and then one right on the other side right there. With an equatorial mount, when you're aiming to different areas of the sky, there's always some area where one finder is facing downwards and it's just not at a convenient angle to look through. So with 2 of them, you can put 2 of the same kind of finders, or if you're like me, I like the best of both worlds, so I'll put an optical finder on one side in one shoe, and then a reflex sight like our easy finder into the other one. That way I get the low power wide field, 0 power finder view. And then through the other one I get the light grasp and magnification of an optical finder. So very handy to have both of them on at the same time. All right, well, there you have it. This is the Orion 10-inch astrograph. It's an f8, 2,000 millimeter focal length astrograph designed for DSLR imaging, dedicated CCD imaging. Works amazingly well for capturing faint deep sky objects, medium to small objects in the night sky, and has a very well-corrected optical system. So you've got excellent images from center to the edge of the field of your CCD camera. Thank you very much. Clear skies.